Dear Virgo, let's be clear from the start. Someone not wanting to let you go isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it's beautiful devotion. Sometimes it's healthy attachment. And sometimes it's possessiveness, codependency, or inability to accept that you're a whole person with agency, not a possession to be held. So, as we talk about someone's strong attachment to you, we need to examine whether this is love worth celebrating or pattern worth being cautious about. Let's dig in. There's intensity around you that you might be feeling, even if you can't name it. Someone's focus, someone's attention, someone whose thoughts keep circling back to you, no matter how much they try to direct them elsewhere. And that circling, it's creating energy, the kind you can sometimes feel even across distance, the kind that makes you think of someone for no apparent reason, the kind that shows up as them appearing in dreams or crossing your mind at random moments. They're holding you in their awareness with unusual consistency, with unusual strength, with level of attachment that goes beyond casual interest or passing attraction. And that attachment, it's not temporary. It's not the kind that fades when novelty wears off, or when challenges appear, or when easier options present themselves. It's sticky, persistent, the kind that endures despite obstacles, despite distance, despite circumstances that would normally dissolve lesser connections. Can you sense who this energy is coming from? Let your body tell you before your mind decides. Because here's what never going to want to let you go actually indicates. This person has formed bond with you that feels essential to them. Not just enjoyable, not just preferable, but necessary in some way. They might not fully understand themselves. Maybe you provide something they've never found elsewhere, perspective they need, energy that balances them, understanding they can't get from other sources. Maybe you see them in ways no one else does, recognize qualities others overlook, appreciate aspects of them that usually go unacknowledged. Maybe the connection itself, the specific chemistry between you, the way you interact, what gets created in the space between you. It's rare enough that they recognize its value, even if they can't articulate exactly what makes it special. Whatever the specific reason, they've imprinted on you. And that imprinting creates attachment that's difficult to dissolve, even when logic suggests they should. Does knowing someone might be that attached to you feel good or concerning? Notice your immediate reaction, because let me be specific about what this attachment might look like in practice. They think about you constantly, your reference point for their decisions, measure against which other people get compared, presence in their mental landscape that doesn't fade even when you're not actively communicating. They engineer reasons to maintain contact, find excuses to reach out, create circumstances that keep you in their orbit, resist anything that would create permanent distance. They remember details, things you mentioned once, preferences you expressed casually, stories you told that didn't seem significant but that they stored away because they came from you. They adjust themselves to keep you, modify behavior when you express needs. Work on patterns you've named as problematic. Put in effort they wouldn't put in for someone they were less attached to. They struggle with the idea of you being with anyone else. Not necessarily in controlling way, but in I can't quite imagine you belonging to someone else way. In the thought of you choosing someone else creates physical discomfort way. Have you noticed any of these patterns in someone's behavior toward you? Identify specific examples if they exist. Because here's what you need to understand about being the person someone can't let go. It's powerful position. It gives you influence. It means your choices matter enormously to someone, that you have impact on their well-being just by virtue of your presence or absence in their life. But power comes with responsibility. And if you're not conscious about how you wield that influence, if you're not careful about what you do with someone's strong attachment, you can cause real harm. Not intentionally, but through carelessness, thoughtlessness, or using their attachment to get needs met without offering reciprocity. So if you recognize that someone has this kind of attachment to you, first question isn't how can I use this, or isn't this flattering, or doesn't this prove my worth? First question is, what's my actual relationship to this person, and does their attachment align with what I'm actually offering? Because if they're deeply attached and you're ambivalent, if they can't let go and you're not even sure you want them holding on, if their intensity far exceeds your interest, that's imbalanced. And imbalance creates suffering. For them, definitely. Often for you too. What's your actual level of investment in the person who's attached to you? Get honest about whether there's reciprocity, because I want to address different scenarios this could represent. Scenario 1, this is mutual. You feel similar intensity toward them. The attachment is reciprocal. The inability to let go operates in both directions. And if that's the case, if this is describing mutual deep bond, that's beautiful. That's rare. That's worth protecting and nurturing and treating with the care it deserves. But even mutual intensity requires consciousness, requires both people maintaining individual wholeness while being deeply connected, requires not using attachment as excuse to avoid personal growth or to make the other person responsible for your happiness. Scenario 2, this is one-sided. They're intensely attached. You care, but not at same level. There's affection, but not the depth of bond they're experiencing. And if that's the case, if there's significant imbalance, you need to be honest about that with them and with yourself, letting them believe reciprocity exists. When it doesn't, that's unkind. That's using their attachment without offering fair exchange. Scenario 3, this is someone you've moved on from, but they haven't released. Ex, former connection, person you were close to who's still holding on despite relationship having ended. And if that's the case, if this is describing someone who can't let go of what no longer exists, you need boundaries, clear ones. Because their inability to accept that it's over doesn't mean you're obligated to maintain connection. Their attachment doesn't override your right to move forward. Which scenario actually describes your situation? Be ruthlessly honest. Because here's what happens when attachment becomes unhealthy. It stops being about genuine connection and becomes about need, about what the attached person gets from you rather than what exists between you. They need you to function, to feel okay, to regulate their emotions, to provide meaning or purpose or distraction from whatever they're avoiding in their own life. And that need, it masquerades as love. It presents as devotion. It looks like I can't imagine life without you, but it's actually dependency. And Dependency isn't love. It's fear of being alone with yourself disguised as attachment to another person. So if someone can't let you go, if their attachment feels excessive or all consuming or like it would collapse if you created any distance, that's red flag. That's not healthy bond. That's someone using connection with you to avoid dealing with their own internal landscape. Does their attachment feel healthy or dependent? Trust your instinct about this because I need to talk about what you might be getting from being the person someone can't release. Validation, proof that you matter, evidence that you're special enough to create this kind of lasting impact on someone, power, control, the ability to influence someone's emotional state just by your presence or absence, your attention or withdrawal, security, knowing that no matter what, you have someone who wants you, someone who won't abandon you, someone whose attachment is reliable even when everything else is uncertain. And all of those things, they feel good. They meet real needs. They provide something genuinely valuable. But if you're keeping someone attached primarily for what it gives you rather than because you're genuinely invested in them, that's using them. That's treating another human as a resource for your needs rather than as person deserving of honest, reciprocal connection. What are you actually getting from this person's attachment? Examine your motivations honestly, because here's what I really need you to hear. If someone genuinely can't let you go, if their attachment is deep and lasting and resilient, you have responsibility to be clear about what you're actually offering, about whether you're in or out, about whether their attachment is to person who's actually available for the kind of connection they're seeking. Ambiguity is cruelty when someone is deeply attached. Keeping them hoping when you're not actually interested, that's not kindness. Accepting their devotion while offering minimal reciprocity, that's exploitation. So get clear. If you want them, be explicit about it. If you don't, be honest about that too. If you're uncertain, say that directly rather than letting them interpret your uncertainty as possibility, because they deserve truth. Even if truth is disappointing, even if it means losing access to whatever their attachment provides you, their well-being matters more than your comfort with being wanted. Can you be that honest even if it costs you something? This is character test. Because I also want to address what happens if this is describing healthy mutual bond. If you've found someone who sees you clearly and chooses to hold on to you, not from need, but from genuine appreciation of who you are. That's gift. That's rare. That's worth reciprocating with your own commitment to not letting go, because people who form deep attachments, when those attachments are healthy, they're often people capable of real loyalty, real consistency, real showing up through difficult times, not just easy ones. And if you have that, if someone's offering you that level of commitment, match it. Don't take it for granted. Don't assume it'll always be there while you explore other options or keep one foot out the door. Deep attachment is precious. It's not guaranteed. It's not something everyone is capable of or willing to offer. So if you have it, if it's genuine and healthy and reciprocal, protect it, nurture it, show up for it with the same consistency and devotion that's being shown to you. Are you actually matching the energy you're receiving? Assess whether you're taking more than you're giving, because ultimately, here's what this comes down to. Someone has formed deep attachment to you They're not going to easily release you. They're holding on to connection with unusual tenacity, and you get to decide what that means, whether it's beautiful or concerning, whether it's mutual or imbalanced, whether it's healthy devotion or unhealthy dependency. And based on that assessment, you get to decide how to respond. If it's mutual and healthy, celebrate it, reciprocate it, build something real from that foundation of deep caring. If it's imbalanced, get honest, set boundaries. Don't use someone's attachment to you for your benefit while offering nothing real in return. If it's unhealthy, create distance. Protect yourself and them from patterns that don't serve either of you. But whatever you do, do it consciously. Do it with awareness of the power dynamics. Do it recognizing that being unable to let someone go creates vulnerability, and that vulnerability deserves respect, whether or not you share the depth of feeling. Someone's holding on to you tightly. That's information. What you do with that information reveals who you are. Choose to be someone whose integrity matches the devotion being offered, or be honest that you can't reciprocate and let them find someone who can. Both options are valid. What's not valid is keeping them attached while remaining uncommitted. Decide what you're actually offering, then be clear about it. That's all anyone deserves. Clarity, honesty, respect for their attachment, even if you don't share it. Give them that. Whatever else you choose to give or withhold. Being held tightly is responsibility, not just flattery. Honor it or release it. Don't exploit it.